Good morning, boys and girls. I hope you're well, and it's lovely to be back chatting to you again this week. Today's a really special day. I wonder if you know why today's a special day. More than just because it's Sunday, more than just because Holiday Bible Club starts tomorrow, but of course it's Father's Day. Today is the day where we celebrate our dads, we appreciate them, we show them just how much we love them. Every single day of the year, not just today. And maybe some of you have already gone and given your dad breakfast in bed. Maybe you've made him a card or bought him a nice card. Maybe you've presented him with a nice gift. But normally on Father's Day, it's the day when we spend time with our dads and we treat them well. And we let them put their feet up, we let them take a rest, and we look after them all day, or else we get our mums to do that for us. But Father's Day is a great day. It's lovely for us to be able to appreciate our dads. I don't know about you, but when I think of my dad's my hero. I love him. I love all the things he's taught me. I love hanging out with him. I love spending time with him. I love having a chat with him. When I'm upset, it's always him that I'll go to. I'll look for a wee hug. I'll look for him to tell me that it's all okay. Most of the time, my dad's great. He's really nice. He's really loving. He's really caring towards me. But sometimes he's grumpy. Sometimes he's stubborn. Sometimes I really annoy him and he ends up telling me off or getting angry with me. I'm sure all of you guys can relate to that as well. Most of the time our dads can be really nice, really friendly, really loving, but sometimes we just push their buttons and we see a not so nice side of them. We see them getting angry or grumpy or worked up with us. But you know, when we look at the Bible, we see an image of God that's completely different to that of our own earthly dads. We see an image of God to be like a father or like a dad. But unlike our earthly dads, he doesn't get worked up with us, he doesn't get angry at us, he doesn't get grumpy or stubborn with us. But he always loves us, he always cares for us, he always shows us compassion. And this morning I wanted to share with you a very well-known story about a dad who has two sons. It's the parable of the prodigal son. And most of you will know this really well, but what I want us to focus on this morning is just the image of the dad. But more than that, how the image of that father in the story points us towards God as our Heavenly Father. So let me read it to you. Luke chapter 15, starting at verse 11. Jesus continued, "There was a man who had two sons. The younger one said to his father, 'Father, give me my share of the estate.' So he divided his property between them. Not long after that, the younger son got together all he had, set off for a distant country, and there squandered his wealth in wild living. After he'd spent everything, there was a severe famine in the whole country, and he began to be in need. So he went and hired himself out to a citizen of that country, who sent him to his fields to feed pigs. He longed to fill his stomach with the pods that the pigs were eating, but no one gave him anything. When he came to his senses, he said, 'How many of my father's hired servants have food to spare, and here I am starving to death? I will set out and go back to my father and say to him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and against you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son. Make me like one of your hired servants.' So he got up and went to his father. But while he was still a long way off, his father saw him and was filled with compassion for him. He ran to his son and threw his arms around him and kissed him. The son said to him, 'Father, I have sinned against heaven and you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son.' But the father said to his servants, 'Quick, bring the best robe and put it on him. Put a ring on his finger and sandals on his feet. Bring the fattened calf and kill it. Let's have a feast and celebrate. For this son of mine was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found.' So they began to celebrate. Meanwhile, the older son was in the field. When he came near the house, he heard music and dancing. So he called one of the servants and asked him what was going on. 'Your brother has come,' he replied, 'and your father has killed the fattened calf because he has him back safe and sound.' The older brother became angry and refused to go in. So his father went out and pleaded with him. But he answered his father, 'Look, all these years I've been slaving for you. I've never disobeyed your orders. Yet you never even gave me a young goat so I could celebrate with my friends. But when this son of yours who has squandered your property with prostitutes comes home, you kill the fattened calf for him.' 'My son,' the father said, 'you're always with me and everything I have is yours. But we had to celebrate and be glad. Because this brother of yours was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found.'" So here we have a dad who has two sons. And one son goes in and says, okay, Dad, I'm tired of waiting for my inheritance. I want it all now. Just give me what's mine and I'll go and enjoy it now. I imagine the father was really hurt by that. He probably thought, how dare you coming in here, be cheekily rude like that and asking for your inheritance. But actually the father gives him it. He divides up half of his property and gives it to his son. So he gets his wealth there and then. But then he forgets all about his dad. He packs up his stuff and he takes off into the far distant country and he begins to live wildly. He begins to live the high life. He gathers all these friends because he's got lots of money. People want his stuff. People want to enjoy his presence when he's got money to spend. But sooner or later, his wealth runs out. And when his wealth runs out, he's got no one and nothing. He finds himself rock bottom. He finds himself needing to hire himself out to be a servant, to go into the fields and to look after pigs. A pretty stinking job, I imagine. And while he's there, while he's looking after those pigs, he realises that the pigs are eating better than him. And he's so hungry that he's longing to eat what the pigs are eating. Imagine wanting to eat what the pigs are eating. But no one would give him anything. But it tells us in the Bible that he comes to his senses. When he comes to his senses, when he recognises, I have made a major mistake, I need to go home to my dad. He comes to his senses. He realises that even his dad's servants would have food to spare, that even his dad's servants were having a better life than him in that moment. And so he gets his act together and decides he's going to make for home. He's going to plan this journey, and while he's on this journey home, he's going to come up with an apology speech in his head of what he's going to say to his dad. Dad, I'm really sorry. I've made a mess. I've hurt you. I've let you down. I've sinned against you. I've sinned against God. I've really made a mess. I know I don't deserve to be your child or your son anymore, but even just make me one of your servants. And so I imagine as he walks home, he's playing this over and over again in his head. But we read that while the son was still a long way off, the dad was watching. I imagine the dad standing watching out the window, maybe a wee pair of binoculars, trying to see the wee boy coming home. And it tells us that when he sees his son, when he sees his wee boy coming towards him, he gets up and he runs towards him. He runs to meet the son where he is. And when he meets the son where he is, he throws his arm around him. He gives him a massive embrace, a massive hug, a wee kiss. He's filled with compassion. He's filled with that love for him. He welcomes his son home. And the son begins his apology speech. Dad, I'm so sorry. I know I don't deserve to be your son anymore. Just make me a servant. I know I've sinned against you. I've sinned against God. But the father stops him. And instead he just loves him. He just forgives him. And he sends out one of his servants. He says, bring in the best robe. Put it on him. Put sandals on his feet. Put a ring on his finger. Get the fattened calf and let's have a party. My wee boy has come home. This is amazing. Let's celebrate. He was dead and now he's alive. He was lost and now he's found. An amazing picture. I don't know about you, but sometimes when I do things to annoy my dad or to hurt him or upset him, sometimes I have to come back and say, I'm really, really sorry. I didn't mean to do that. Please forgive me. And often my dad will just throw his arms around me, he'll give me a hug and he'll say, it's okay, I forgive you. We'll move past it. That's exactly how it was for the father and the son in this story. But more than that, this father in the story gives us an image of what God is like with us. You see, when we come to God and when we say sorry for all the things that we've done against him, when we say sorry for forgetting all about you, God, sorry for sinning against you, sorry for breaking your heart at times, God is standing with those open arms, ready to embrace us, ready to give us that hug, ready to give us a wee kiss and say, it's okay, I love you and I forgive you. God is always filled with that compassion. God is always watching for us to return to him. God is always standing with open arms, ready to embrace us, ready to accept us, and ready to forgive us. So remember that for me today. I hope you have a great day. I hope you have a good week in the week to come. Enjoy celebrating your dad today. Remember the father in this story and how he was filled with love and compassion and ran to meet his son. But more than that, remember the image of God as our Heavenly Father who's always standing ready to throw his arms around us and embrace us when we come to him and when we say sorry. He'll always forgive us and he will always show us that love and compassion. So take care of yourselves and I look forward to chatting to you all again next week.